How much is Melania Trump's wardrobe really worth? From custom couture gowns and diamond-studded accessories to five-figure handbags, her fashion choices have always been extravagant. Whether at a White House gala, a state visit, or Mar-a-Lago, her outfits are meticulously curated and often come with jaw-dropping price tags. Melania's style blends European luxury and American elegance, featuring iconic brands like Versace, Dolce & Gabbana, Dior, and Ralph Lauren. Some outfits cost more than the average American's annual salary, while others have sparked controversy for their excess. Which designer dominates her wardrobe? How much did her most expensive gown cost? And has her fashion influence reshaped First Lady style? Let's take a closer look. 1. The inauguration ensemble of 2017 Melania. Trump made her official debut as First Lady of the United States in January 2017, and her fashion choices for the occasion were nothing short of striking. With the eyes of the world upon her, she opted for a look that exudes elegance, tradition, and a nod to American heritage. For the swearing-in ceremony, Melania wore a custom-made Ralph Lauren outfit, a powder blue cashmere suit consisting of a fitted double-breasted jacket and a matching knee-length dress. The monochromatic look was accessorized with matching gloves and suede pumps, drawing immediate comparisons to Jacqueline Kennedy's iconic Inauguration Day ensemble in 1961. The cost of this custom Ralph Lauren creation remains undisclosed, but similar high-end pieces from the designer can range upwards of $12,000, and that's without factoring in the bespoke craftsmanship. Later that evening, Melania dazzled in a Hervé Pierre gown for the inaugural ball. The ivory silk off-the-shoulder dress featured a body-hugging silhouette, a dramatic thigh-high slit, and a subtle ruffle detail cascading down the front. Hervé Pierre, a French-American designer, worked closely with Melania to create a gown that balanced modern sophistication with a timeless, understated charm. While the exact price of this gown is unknown, similar custom pieces from high-end designers can easily exceed $40,000. Her jewelry selection for the evening was just as refined. Rather than overloading on diamonds, Melania opted for simplicity, diamond earrings, and a sleek bracelet that complemented the minimalistic elegance of her gown. The entire look, from the dress to the accessories, set the tone for Melania's approach to First Lady fashion: polished, high-end, and undeniably expensive. 2. The inaugural ensemble of 2025. After years away from the White House, Melania Trump returned to the national stage on January 20, 2025, for the inauguration of the 47th President of the United States. As expected, her fashion choices sparked discussions, drawing both praise and criticism. For the swearing-in ceremony, Melania opted for a custom navy coat dress designed by Adam Lippis, a New York-based designer known for his refined, modern take on classic silhouettes. The structured, double-breasted coat made of silk wool fabric featured a high neckline, wide lapels, and an impeccable tailored fit that exuded confidence and power. Underneath, she wore a matching navy pencil skirt and an ivory silk blouse, completing a look that felt polished and dignified. One of the most talked-about elements of the outfit was her wide-brimmed boater hat, designed by American milliner Eric Javits. Hats have played a significant role in Melania's fashion over the years, often adding a dramatic flair to her ensembles. This particular piece, with its sleek, structured brim and understated detailing, complemented the elegance of her coat. Similar high-end custom hats from Eric Javits can start at $400 and go well beyond for bespoke designs. Melania completed her look with dark blue suede Manolo Blahnik pumps, known for their timeless appeal, while a standard pair of Manolo Blahnik heels starts at $600. Custom designs for high-profile clients can cost significantly more. The outfit drew comparisons to her 2017 inaugural look, where she wore a pastel blue Ralph Lauren coat. This time, the choice of a deep navy shade was interpreted by some as a reflection of a more serious, commanding presence. 3. Diplomatic glamour and the $51,000 coat. If there is one thing that Melania Trump has mastered, it is diplomatic fashion. Throughout her time as First Lady, she frequently used clothing as a symbolic gesture, paying homage to the countries she visited while ensuring her looks remained at the height of luxury. One of her most memorable and expensive outfits came during her 2017 visit to Sicily, Italy, for the G7 summit. As world leaders gathered for high-stakes discussions, Melania stunned in a Dolce & Gabbana floral coat that left fashion critics in awe. and taxpayers raising their eyebrows. The coat, valued at $51,000, was covered in intricate three-dimensional floral appliques, featuring a vibrant mix of pink, yellow, and green flowers. It was a true work of art, designed to turn heads and showcase the pinnacle of haute couture craftsmanship. Underneath, she wore a simple beige dress to ensure the coat remained the focal point. While undeniably stunning, the price of this outfit sparked backlash. Critics argued that wearing a coat that cost more than the median American household income was out of touch, particularly for a first lady. However, supporters defended her choice, stating that Melania was a private citizen before entering the White House and had always had a preference for high-end fashion. This wasn't the only time Melania used fashion as a diplomatic tool. During her state visit to the United Kingdom, she wore a J. Mendel pale yellow chiffon gown, a flowing Grecian-inspired dress that exuded classic Hollywood glamour. The gown featured an off-the-shoulder neckline, subtle pleats, and cape detailing, a signature element of many of her more dramatic evening looks. The price tag? $6,990. In April 2018, while welcoming French President Emmanuel Macron to the White House, Melania donned a crisp all-white Michael Kors skirt suit paired with a Hervé Pierre wide-brim hat. The ensemble cost approximately $2,195, while the Christian Louboutin heels she wore added another $745 to the overall price. This look immediately went viral, drawing comparisons to Beyoncé's outfit in her Formation music video and Olivia Pope's signature wardrobe from Scandal. 4. The power of accessories. Birkin bags, diamonds, and designer heels. Melania Trump's love for luxury isn't limited to clothing. Her accessories have often made just as much of a statement as her outfits. Whether carrying an iconic Hermes Birkin bag or stepping out in signature Manolo Blahnik heels, Melania's accessory choices have reinforced her reputation for high-end fashion. One of the most notable elements of her wardrobe is her collection of Hermes Birkin bags, which are among the most expensive handbags in the world. Throughout her time as First Lady, she was frequently seen carrying different variations of the Birkin, each worth anywhere from $13,000 to $75,000, depending on the leather, size, and rarity. The Birkin is more than just a handbag, it's a status symbol, often purchased by celebrities, royals, and the ultra-wealthy. Melania's collection reportedly includes both classic neutral tones and exotic leathers, making her assortment one of the most enviable among public figures. Another accessory that has continuously drawn attention is her 25-carat diamond engagement ring, gifted by Donald Trump in 2005. Originally estimated at $1.5 million, the ring was upgraded in 2020 with an even larger diamond from Graf, bringing its estimated value to over $3 million. This extravagant upgrade was a testament to Melania's preference for timeless yet opulent jewelry. Footwear has also played a key role in her iconic looks. Melania has been known to favor brands like Christian Louboutin and Manolo Blahnik, particularly the latter's BB pumps, which she wore repeatedly during her time in the White House. These heels, named after French actress Brigitte Bardot, retail for around $650 per pair. But Melania's collection includes custom-made designs that likely cost much more. Her jewelry choices have ranged from understated elegance to bold statements, but one thing remains consistent: quality over quantity. While she rarely layers multiple pieces, she selects the highest quality diamonds, pearls, and gold to complete her looks. From Tiffany & Co. diamond bracelets to custom-designed earrings, every piece Melania wears is carefully chosen to enhance, rather than overpower, her ensemble. 5. Evening gowns and gala glamour. The $7,995 dress. Melania Trump's evening gowns have always reflected a sense of Hollywood glamour, combining timeless silhouettes with modern elegance. Whether attending a state dinner, a White House gala, or a high-profile event, her choices have never been subtle. Each gown she selects is designed to make a statement, and many have come with price tags that rival the cost of a luxury car. One of her most expensive and memorable gowns was the Monique Lhuillier sequined dress she wore to the White House Historical Association dinner in 2017. The full-length gown, priced at $7,995, was made from shimmering sequined chiffon and featured a sheer cape-like overlay that draped elegantly over her shoulders. The floor-length silhouette and soft blush tone added to the understated sophistication of the ensemble. Another stunning gown that garnered attention was the gold silk Monique Lhuillier dress she wore to the Ford's Theater Annual Gala in 2017. The gown featured delicate pleating, a high neckline, and an open-back design, showcasing a blend of modern and classic elements. Paired with golden Manolo Blahnik pumps, the outfit reflected her signature preference for monochromatic elegance. The cost of the dress alone was estimated at $2,595, while the heels added another $660 to the overall look. Melania's Dolce & Gabbana evening wear has also been a recurring highlight of her wardrobe. One of her most extravagant selections was the crystal-embellished gown she wore during a New Year's Eve celebration at Mar-a-Lago, featuring intricate embroidery and hand-sewn sequins. This particular gown, though not publicly priced, is estimated to have cost well over $10,000, considering similar designs from the brand. Even when not in the White House, Melania's evening wear has continued to turn heads. In 2024, she attended a high-profile charity gala in Palm Beach, wearing a custom Reem Accra gown, featuring intricate lace detailing and a fitted bodice. Though the price remains undisclosed, similar gowns from the designer start at $6,000 and can easily exceed $15,000 for exclusive custom-made designs. 6. The $100,000 wedding dress. A gown fit for royalty. Long before she became First Lady, Melania Trump's status as a style icon was cemented on January 22, 2005, when she married Donald Trump in a lavish ceremony at the Episcopal Church of Bethesda by the Sea in Palm Beach, Florida. As expected, her wedding dress was no ordinary gown. It was a custom Christian Dior creation, designed by the renowned John Galliano, and remains one of the most extravagant bridal gowns ever worn. The dress was crafted from 300 feet of white Duchess satin with a voluminous skirt that made a dramatic statement, featuring a fitted bodice, intricate embroidery, and hand-stitched pearls and crystals. The gown weighed nearly 60 pounds, making it one of the heaviest wedding dresses in fashion history. The 16-foot veil added to its regal aesthetic, giving Melania a look reminiscent of European royalty. To complement the gown, she wore a 13-carat diamond ring valued at over $1,500,000, solidifying the sheer extravagance of the occasion. The cost of the dress alone was estimated at $100,000, a price that, at the time, made it one of the most expensive wedding gowns ever made. Its exclusivity and craftsmanship ensured that it remains one of the most iconic bridal looks of the 21st century. The gown was so remarkable that it earned a 12-page feature in Vogue magazine, where Melania posed with the elaborate train cascading behind her. 7. Casual yet costly. Melania's off-duty fashion. While Melania Trump is best known for her formal, structured outfits, her casual attire has often been just as expensive as her evening gowns. Whether stepping off Air Force One, vacationing at Mar-a-Lago, or attending unofficial engagements, she has consistently chosen designer pieces that come with luxury price tags. One of the most talked-about instances of Melania's high-end casual wear occurred in 2017, when she was spotted gardening at the White House in a Balmain plaid shirt worth $1,100. The black and white checkered blouse, paired with white jeans and sneakers, seemed simple at first glance, but the price tag quickly became a topic of discussion. While most people wouldn't consider a $1,000 shirt for outdoor work, for Melania, it was just another carefully curated look. Another moment that showcased her casual yet extravagant style was during her departure from Washington, D.C. in 2021. As she and Donald Trump left the White House for the final time, she was seen in a Dolce & Gabbana black dress valued at over $3,000, paired with Christian Louboutin pumps costing at least $700. The outfit signaled her transition back to private life, but even in a simple black dress, she maintained her signature high-fashion aesthetic. Melania's love for designer outerwear has also extended into her off-duty wardrobe. While traveling, she has often worn tailored coats from Max Mara, Gucci, and Burberry, many of which retail for over $4,000. Her Isude wool coat, worn while traveling to Helsinki in 2018, stood out for its elegant simplicity and estimated price tag of $3,995. Paired with a Hermes Birkin bag and brown flats, the look was a rare departure from her usual stilettos, but still remained effortlessly expensive. Even her footwear choices for casual settings have drawn attention. She is frequently seen wearing Roger Vivier flats, Valentino rock stud sandals, and Gucci loafers, each pair costing anywhere between $700 to $1,500. While many first ladies have opted for practical footwear while traveling, Melania has continued to embrace designer brands, ensuring that even her most relaxed looks are polished and refined. Perhaps the most controversial of her casual outfits came in 2018, when she wore a Zara jacket with the words, "I really don't care, do you?" printed on the back. Priced at just $39, it was one of the most affordable pieces she had ever worn publicly. But it sparked massive backlash due to the political climate at the time. Despite this, the majority of her wardrobe, whether casual or formal, remains firmly in the luxury category. 8. The controversial $39 jacket, a statement or a misstep. Among the many high-end outfits that Melania Trump has worn, one of the most controversial and talked-about pieces was surprisingly one of her least expensive. In June 2018, Melania was photographed wearing a $39 Zara jacket with the words, "I really don't care, do you?" printed on the back. She wore it while boarding a plane to visit a migrant child detention center in Texas, an event that was already politically sensitive. The reaction was immediate. Given the context of the visit, many criticized the jacket as tone-deaf and insensitive, questioning whether it was an intentional statement or simply an oversight. Others defended her, arguing that she often chooses her own outfits and that it may not have had any deeper meaning. Regardless of intent, the jacket became one of her most discussed fashion choices, sparking debates across social media, news outlets, and even late-night talk shows. The decision to wear an affordable mass-market brand like Zara was also unusual for Melania, who typically chooses high-end labels. Many noted that it was a stark contrast to her usual Dolce & Gabbana, Gucci, and Ralph Lauren ensembles, which often cost thousands of dollars. Some even speculated that it was meant to be a deliberate distraction from the visit itself, shifting media focus toward her clothing rather than the politically charged topic at hand. Despite the controversy, Melania remained largely silent on the matter, only later addressing it by saying, "It was just a jacket." However, former President Donald Trump later claimed the message was directed at the media, stating that Melania has learned how dishonest they are and she truly no longer cares. Regardless of who or what the jacket was meant to reference, it became one of the most memorable fashion moments of her time as First Lady, proving that even a low-cost item could create a high-impact controversy. 9. The influence of European designers, Dolce & Gabbana, Dior, and Balmain. Throughout her time in the White House and beyond, Melania Trump has consistently favored European fashion houses, choosing designers who represent the height of luxury. From Dolce & Gabbana's intricate craftsmanship to Dior's classic elegance and Balmain's structured sophistication, she has aligned herself with some of the world's most prestigious brands. Her preference for these designers has often set her apart from previous First Ladies, who tended to wear more American-based labels. One of Melania's most striking European designer pieces was her Dolce & Gabbana floral coat, worn during the G7 summit in Sicily in 2017. The coat, valued at $51,000, was covered in hand-sewn three-dimensional floral appliques, making it one of the most expensive outerwear pieces she had ever worn publicly. It was paired with simple nude heels and minimal accessories, ensuring that the coat itself remained the focal point. Despite its undeniable beauty, the price tag sparked criticism from both media and political analysts, who questioned whether such an extravagant choice was appropriate for a First Lady. Another unforgettable moment was her custom Dior white gown, worn during a state visit to France in 2017. Designed specifically for the dinner at the Eiffel Tower, the gown featured an asymmetrical neckline, structured draping, and subtle embroidery, making it both modern and timeless. The estimated cost for a gown of this level of craftsmanship is well over $20,000. Though the actual price remains undisclosed, Balmain has also been a key brand in Melania's wardrobe, particularly for her off-duty and casual wear. In 2018, she was photographed wearing a Balmain plaid shirt worth $1,100 while gardening at the White House, a moment that once again highlighted the extravagant nature of her fashion choices. Even in a setting where most people would opt for simple attire, she maintained her signature high-fashion aesthetic. Despite her love for European designers, Melania has also worn American brands on occasion, especially for politically significant events. Her Ralph Lauren powder blue suit for the 2017 inauguration and Michael Kors sequined black suit for a congressional address were notable nods to American craftsmanship. However, her general preference for European labels was one of the defining characteristics of her style, setting her apart from other first ladies who often made a point to wear exclusively American designers. 10. The role of American designers: Ralph Lauren, Michael Kors, and Calvin Klein. While Melania Trump's wardrobe has often been dominated by European luxury brands, she has also embraced American designers for some of her most high-profile appearances. From Ralph Lauren's timeless tailoring to Michael Kors's modern glamour and Calvin Klein's minimalist aesthetic, her selections have balanced European opulence with American sophistication. Unlike past first ladies who often prioritized supporting American fashion, Melania's approach was more selective, choosing American brands only for politically significant moments. One of her most iconic American-designed outfits was the powder blue Ralph Lauren ensemble she wore for Donald Trump's inauguration in January 2017. The custom cashmere suit, valued at over $12,000, was praised for its elegance and subtle nod to Jacqueline Kennedy's inauguration look in 1961. The structured jacket worn over a matching dress was paired with coordinating suede gloves and pointed-toe pumps, creating an image of classic American refinement. The ensemble was widely considered one of her most memorable and symbolic fashion choices, signaling a new era in the White House, while also acknowledging the style legacy of past first ladies. Another striking moment came during her first address to Congress in 2017, where she stepped out in a sequined black Michael Kors suit worth $9,590. The fitted blazer and matching skirt, covered in intricate embroidery and beading, stood out for its boldness. The outfit received mixed reactions, with some praising it as a powerful fashion statement, while others questioned whether its glittering embellishments were appropriate for a formal congressional address. Regardless of the debate, it reaffirmed her status as a fashion-forward First Lady, unafraid to embrace luxury on the political stage. Melania has also incorporated Calvin Klein's structured designs into her wardrobe, particularly for official travel engagements and public appearances. In 2018, she wore a white Calvin Klein trench coat with a cinched waist, embodying a minimalist yet polished aesthetic. Priced at around $3,000, the coat was a departure from her usual dramatic European silhouettes, instead reflecting the sleek, understated elegance of American fashion. 11. Fashion statements during the pandemic: masks, coats, and symbolism. The COVID-19 pandemic brought significant changes to the world, and for Melania Trump, it also meant adapting her wardrobe to new circumstances. While many public figures opted for casual, practical clothing during this time, Melania continued to embrace structured coats, high-end designers, and carefully curated accessories, even when wearing protective face masks. One of her most discussed pandemic-era outfits was the navy and white polka-dot Michael Kors dress, worn in May 2020 during a ceremony honoring healthcare workers at the White House. The fitted midi dress, valued at $1,700, was paired with a matching navy face mask, marking one of the first times she was seen publicly wearing a mask. The coordinated look sent a strong message about pandemic safety, while still maintaining her signature polished style. For her final Christmas at the White House in 2020, Melania embraced festive yet sophisticated fashion, wearing a double-breasted Balenciaga coat in rich red plaid. The coat, estimated at $3,500, was paired with knee-high leather boots and black gloves, creating an image of timeless winter elegance. The look received praise for its balance of holiday spirit and high fashion appeal, proving that even during challenging times, Melania remained committed to her signature style. In November 2020, while casting her vote in Florida, Melania surprised many by wearing a Gucci beige pleated dress without a mask, despite public health recommendations at the time. The dress, priced at around $4,500, featured a retro-inspired silhouette with a high neckline and elegant draping. The decision to forego a face mask during a public event sparked controversy, as critics questioned whether it was an intentional statement or simply a personal style choice. Despite the pandemic's impact on public life, Melania remained consistent in her fashion choices, proving that even during a global crisis, her wardrobe was as intentional as ever. Her pandemic-era fashion showed a mix of practicality, symbolism, and unwavering luxury, ensuring that she left the White House in the same way she entered, dressed to perfection. But even after stepping away from politics, her post-White House fashion choices continued to make headlines, solidifying her status as a global style icon. 12. Post-White House fashion. Life after Washington. After leaving the White House in January 2021, Melania Trump largely retreated from the public eye, choosing a quieter life in Florida, while still maintaining her signature luxurious style. Though no longer bound by the expectations of a First Lady, her fashion choices remained high-end, proving that her love for couture, structured silhouettes, and designer accessories was not just for political appearances. One of her first post-White House sightings occurred in April 2021, when she was photographed in Palm Beach wearing a white Chanel jacket paired with slim trousers and matching heels. The structured jacket, estimated to cost around $6,000, featured Chanel's signature tweed texture, adorned with subtle gold buttons. Though simple in design, the ensemble reaffirmed that Melania's commitment to elegance had not faded since stepping away from politics. In December 2021, Melania attended a private holiday event at Mar-a-Lago, wearing a floor-length emerald green Valentino gown. The dress, valued at $8,000, featured a flowing chiffon silhouette with delicate beadwork, making it one of her more ethereal fashion choices. Paired with diamond drop earrings and silver stilettos, the look was a reminder that even in retirement from public office, Melania continued to embrace high-fashion statement pieces. Throughout 2022 and 2023, she was frequently spotted in designer dresses and high-end handbags, often pairing Dior, Balenciaga, and Gucci ensembles with Hermes Birkin bags. One of her more casual yet costly looks came in April 2023, when she was seen wearing a Max Mara trench coat worth $3,900, accessorized with a black crocodile Birkin bag estimated at $75,000. The combination of classic American tailoring and European accessories reflected the timeless, understated luxury she has long been known for. Perhaps one of the most notable post-White House fashion moments came in early 2024, when Melania appeared at a high-profile charity gala wearing a custom Carolina Herrera gown. The dress, made from silk organza with intricate floral embroidery, was estimated to cost upwards of $12,000, aligning with her long-standing preference for structured, feminine, and refined evening wear. The Carolina Herrera choice marked a rare return to an American designer, though she continued to primarily favor European luxury brands. 13. The impact of Melania's fashion on pop culture. Melania Trump's fashion choices have been a constant subject of discussion, with each outfit carefully analyzed, praised, or critiqued by the media and the public. Unlike many first ladies before her, Melania's fashion influence extended beyond the political sphere, shaping pop culture, social media trends, and even designer collections. Whether intentionally or not, her style choices left a lasting impact on the fashion industry. One of the most immediate influences was her inauguration ensemble in 2017. The Ralph Lauren powder blue coat and dress combination inspired numerous fashion brands to create similar pastel-hued structured coats, leading to a surge in soft blue tailored outerwear in the months following the inauguration. The look was widely compared to Jacqueline Kennedy's famous inauguration ensemble, solidifying Melania's place in the legacy of iconic First Lady fashion. Her all-white Michael Kors suit and Hervé Pierre hat, worn in 2018 during the French president's state visit, became a viral fashion moment. Within hours, social media users began drawing comparisons to Beyoncé's look in the Formation music video, as well as to the signature white coats worn by Olivia Pope in Scandal. The bold, monochromatic ensemble, valued at over $3,000, showcased Melania's ability to wear structured yet statement-making pieces that captured public attention. Even beyond her official First Lady appearances, Melania's fashion had a cultural impact. The $51,000 Dolce & Gabbana floral coat, worn in 2017, became a reference point for high-fashion maximalism, inspiring several brands to experiment with bold floral applique outerwear in the following seasons. Though controversial due to its price, the coat proved that Melania had a place in couture fashion conversations, influencing runway trends at a time when many political figures avoided excessive luxury. Her influence also extended to accessories, particularly with her love for Hermes Birkin bags. Following her multiple public appearances carrying various Birkin designs, the demand for limited edition Birkins surged, with resale prices skyrocketing. The black crocodile Birkin she carried when leaving the White House in 2021, estimated at $75,000, became one of the most referenced handbags in discussions about power dressing and status symbols. Social media played a key role in amplifying Melania's fashion impact. While she never publicly engaged with trends, her looks were often replicated in viral posts, from TikTok users recreating her structured coat outfits to Instagram fashion pages analyzing her most expensive gowns. Despite her reserved public persona, her style was undeniably influential, proving that fashion could be a silent yet powerful tool in shaping public perception. 14. The Versace Gala Gown, a Mar-a-Lago showstopper. Melania Trump has always been known for her impeccable fashion choices, and even after leaving the White House, her wardrobe continues to reflect luxury and exclusivity. One of her most striking post-White House appearances came during the New Year's Eve Gala at Mar-a-Lago in December 2024, where she wore an extravagant custom Versace gown that instantly captured attention. The floor-length black silk gown, designed by Versace's atelier in Italy, featured a draped cowl neckline and a daring thigh-high slit, adding a modern, sensual touch to the otherwise timeless silhouette. The fabric was meticulously hand-stitched, with delicate embellishments shimmering under the chandeliers of Mar-a-Lago's grand ballroom. The golden metallic threading woven into the gown added a regal touch, making it one of her most dramatic fashion moments in recent years. While the exact price of the custom Versace gown remains undisclosed, similar haute couture creations from the brand typically start at $15,000 and can exceed $50,000, depending on the level of craftsmanship and materials used. Given Melania's history of selecting only the most exclusive pieces, her version was likely among the higher-end couture selections. To complete the look, Melania paired the gown with a pair of Christian Louboutin gold pumps, estimated at around $1,200, and accessorized with diamond drop earrings rumored to be from her personal collection. She carried a sleek black Judith Leiber clutch, known for its signature crystal embellishments with similar designs valued at over $3,000. Her hair was styled in soft, cascading waves, and she opted for her signature bronzed makeup look with a smoky eye and nude lip. The combination of effortless glamour and high-end fashion solidified this look as one of her most expensive and visually striking outfits post-White House. This stunning gala look at Mar-a-Lago further adds to the long list of Melania Trump's most extravagant and expensive fashion statements, cementing her legacy as one of the best-dressed first ladies in history. 15. The custom Hervé Pierre inaugural ball gown, a collaboration in couture. At the 2017 inaugural ball, Melania Trump made a memorable entrance in a custom-designed gown by Hervé Pierre. The vanilla-colored off-the-shoulder dress featured a high slit, an arch across the torso, and a red silk belt around the waistline, combining modern design elements with classic elegance. The gown was a result of a close collaboration between Melania and Pierre, reflecting her personal style and vision. The gown's design was both sophisticated and daring, with the high slit adding a touch of modernity to the otherwise classic silhouette. The red silk belt provided a striking contrast, accentuating her waist and adding a pop of color to the ensemble. The choice of vanilla-colored fabric lent an air of understated elegance, allowing the design details to take center stage. While the exact cost of the gown was not publicly disclosed, custom couture pieces of this nature are typically valued at upwards of $10,000, considering the bespoke design, high-quality materials, and craftsmanship involved. The gown was later donated to the National Museum of American History, where it became part of the First Lady's inaugural gowns collection, cementing its place in fashion history. What happens when a public figure long defined by their silence suddenly breaks their years of quiet? How does a single moment of speech shift the narrative and redefine a person's role in a turbulent world? For Melania Trump, the former First Lady who had remained largely in the background of her husband's political career, the decision to speak publicly was nothing short of a game-changer. Known for her reserved nature, Melania had spent much of her time out of the spotlight, allowing her husband's presidency and policies to take center stage. But when she stepped up to the microphone on that fateful evening, the world was forced to listen. Her message, one of unity and personal conviction, sent ripples through both the political sphere and the broader public, leaving everyone asking, what does this mean for her family, and for the future of American politics? How it shook the status quo, how Melania Trump's decision to break her silence shifted public perception, and what it says about her evolving role in the political narrative. Through her words and the reactions that followed, we'll uncover the lasting impact of her speech, the questions it raised, and the possibility of a new chapter in her public life. Before this, the world had grown accustomed to her silence, a quiet presence that spoke louder than words. Melania Trump, the former First Lady, had long been a figure of intrigue, a woman who captivated through her enigmatic demeanor. While her husband's presidency unfolded in a constant storm of media coverage and political discourse, Melania often stayed in the shadows, offering glimpses of her perspective through carefully curated appearances and rare statements. Over time, her silence became a defining feature, sparking speculation and countless narratives about the woman behind the stoic gaze. For years, this mystique fueled curiosity. Some saw her as a reluctant participant in the political circus, longing for a return to a private life. Others believed her silence was a calculated choice, a refusal to be drawn into the chaos. Whichever the case, her silence only deepened the intrigue. The world watched, speculated, and waited. But no one truly expected the silence to break. And yet, it did. It began with whispers. Reports surfaced of a planned public address, an appearance unlike any she had made before. Initial reactions were a mix of skepticism and disbelief. What could Melania possibly say that would warrant such an event? Pundits debated whether this was a strategic move by the Trump camp, a deliberate effort to reignite public interest as the election loomed closer. Still, the prospect of her speaking out stirred a kind of collective anticipation. For those who admired her, it was an opportunity to hear from a figure they saw as dignified and poised. For her critics, it was a chance to scrutinize her stance, and perhaps even her sincerity. The announcement was simple and understated, much like the woman herself. There would be no flashy rally or bombastic social media teasers. A venue was chosen, a space intimate enough to feel personal, yet grand enough to signify the weight of the moment. The buzz grew louder as the day approached, with journalists and analysts speculating on the content of her speech. Would she talk about her husband's political career? Address her time in the White House? Or was this something entirely different, a revelation about her personal journey? When the day arrived, the atmosphere was electric. Cameras panned across the room, capturing the expressions of those in attendance. Supporters, critics, and curious onlookers all sat in tense anticipation. It was a moment suspended in time, where the air felt heavy with the weight of the unknown. The stage, illuminated by soft lighting, seemed to echo the understated grandeur that Melania had come to embody. Then she appeared. Dressed in an elegant yet simple attire, she walked to the podium with the kind of grace that had always defined her public appearances. There was no hesitation in her steps, no sign of the reserved figure many had come to associate with her. As she took her place behind the microphone, the room fell silent, the kind of silence that amplifies every heartbeat, every intake of breath. Her opening words were calm yet commanding, her accent carrying the familiar lilt that had become synonymous with her voice. But it was when she shifted to the present that the real shockwaves began. Her words, carefully chosen, were direct yet profound. She addressed the challenges facing the nation with a clarity that seemed to cut through the noise. It wasn't a political manifesto, nor was it an emotional plea. Instead, it was a statement of intent, a declaration of her perspective on the issues that mattered most to her. She spoke of unity, resilience, and the need for empathy in a time of division. The audience, initially silent, began to react. Applause broke out in waves, punctuating her points as she continued. For some, it was a moment of vindication, proof that Melania was more than just a passive figure. For others, it was a revelation, a glimpse into the mind of a woman who had long been an enigma. When she finished, the room erupted in a standing ovation. But it wasn't just the applause that lingered. It was the sense that something significant had just occurred, a shift in the narrative surrounding Melania Trump. For the first time in years, she wasn't just a figure in the background. She was a voice, a presence, a force to be reckoned with. The reactions that followed were immediate and varied. Social media lit up with praise, criticism, and everything in between. Some hailed her as a symbol of grace and resilience, while others dismissed her speech as a calculated move to support her husband's ambitions. Analysts dissected her every word, debating its implications for the upcoming election and for her own legacy. But regardless of the opinions, one thing was clear. Melania Trump had broken her silence, and the world was listening. The speech may have ended, but the ripple effects had only just begun. As the audience filed out of the venue, conversations buzzed with interpretations of what they had just witnessed. In living rooms and newsrooms across the country, her words replayed in sound bites, each outlet emphasizing a different part of her address. The media frenzy was immediate, and for good reason. Melania Trump's public silence had, for so long, been a canvas onto which people projected their assumptions. Now that silence was replaced with a clear, deliberate message, leaving everyone scrambling to interpret its meaning. Across social media platforms, hashtags bearing her name trended for hours. Supporters called her speech a breath of fresh air, applauding her focus on unity and resilience. "Melania finally speaks," read one post, accompanied by clips of her poised delivery. For these individuals, the speech was not only a political statement but a personal one, a testament to her ability to command a stage in her own right. Others, however, were less impressed. Critics questioned the timing of her appearance, labeling it a calculated effort to humanize a controversial campaign. The debate was as polarized as the political climate itself, but no one could deny that Melania had seized the spotlight. Within hours, the speech became a staple of primetime commentary. Panel discussions dissected her tone, her choice of words, even her body language. Behavioral analysts pointed out how her posture conveyed confidence, while linguists noted the deliberate simplicity of her phrasing. "This was a departure from her usual reserved persona," one expert remarked. "It's clear that this was a carefully crafted moment, but there's an undeniable authenticity in how she delivered it." Others weren't so generous. A political strategist on a rival network dismissed the speech as style over substance, claiming it offered little in terms of concrete solutions. The debates extended beyond the airwaves. Around dinner tables and in coffee shops, people shared their thoughts on Melania's unexpected return to the public eye. What struck many was the duality of her message. It felt personal, yet political, reflective, yet forward-looking. For some, this ambiguity only added to her mystique. Was this speech a one-time event, or was it the beginning of a more active role in her husband's campaign? And perhaps more importantly, was it a step toward reclaiming her narrative independent of the Trump name? The days that followed offered no definitive answers, but they did provide a clearer picture of the impact her words had made. Within the Trump campaign, her speech was hailed as a triumph. Internal reports showed a noticeable uptick in enthusiasm among supporters, with many expressing hope that she would take on a larger role moving forward. Small dollar donations spiked in the 48 hours after her address, and rally attendance surged as clips of her speech continued to circulate online. Even beyond her husband's base, the speech seemed to resonate in unexpected ways. Political analysts speculated that her measured tone and focus on unity could appeal to undecided voters, particularly suburban women who had grown weary of divisive rhetoric. "She's relatable in a way that's rare for figures in her position," one commentator observed. "There's something disarming about her approach. She's not trying to be a typical politician, and that's exactly why people are paying attention." But with praise came criticism, and it was as fierce as it was immediate. Critics accused her of opportunism, arguing that her sudden re-emergence was timed to distract from controversies surrounding the campaign. "Where was this version of Melania when she was First Lady?" one op-ed asked. Others questioned the sincerity of her message, pointing out what they saw as inconsistencies between her words and her actions. The scrutiny was relentless, a reminder of the unique challenges she faced as a public figure straddling the line between political spouse and private citizen. Amid this whirlwind of reactions, Melania remained characteristically silent. She made no follow-up statements, no public appearances to clarify or expand on her remarks. If anything, her absence only heightened the intrigue. It was as if she had delivered her message and then stepped back, allowing the world to make of it what it would. This approach, deliberate or not, only deepened the divide between those who saw her as a reluctant but sincere voice and those who viewed her as a calculated player in a broader political strategy. Behind the scenes, however, her impact was undeniable. Campaign insiders reported that her speech had injected a much-needed boost of energy into their efforts. Volunteers and staffers alike described a renewed sense of momentum, with many attributing it to her ability to connect with audiences on a more personal level than traditional political figures. "She has a way of cutting through the noise," one campaign worker said. "People listen to her because she doesn't overcomplicate things. She speaks from the heart." For many, this realization marked the beginning of a broader conversation about Melania Trump's role in the political and cultural landscape. Was this a fleeting moment, or the start of something more enduring? And what did it mean for a woman who had long been defined by her silence to finally speak? As these questions swirled, one thing became clear. Melania's voice, however infrequent, carried weight. And in a world saturated with noise, that rarity made it all the more powerful. The days turned into weeks, but the reverberations of Melania Trump's speech showed no signs of fading. It had become more than just a fleeting moment in the relentless churn of the news cycle. The speech had planted itself firmly in the public consciousness, sparking conversations that stretched far beyond the immediate political landscape. For many, it wasn't just the content of her words, but the very act of her speaking that carried the most significance. Melania's decision to break her silence wasn't simply a commentary on current issues, it was a statement about her place in the narrative. Political analysts and commentators couldn't help but return to the question, why now? After years of maintaining a carefully guarded public image, what had prompted her to step into the spotlight at such a pivotal moment? Some saw it as a masterstroke of timing, a calculated effort to sway critical demographics as the election approached. Others believed it was a deeply personal decision, born out of a desire to address misconceptions and reclaim her voice after years of being overshadowed. The answer likely lay somewhere in between. Insiders close to the Trump family suggested that Melania's re-emergence had been months in the making, with careful planning and preparation behind the scenes. They described her as deeply thoughtful, unwilling to speak until she felt she had something meaningful to say. Her speech, they claimed, was less about politics and more about her values, family, resilience, and a belief in the strength of the American spirit. Yet even this framing couldn't escape the political implications. In a climate as polarized as this, any public statement by someone in her position was bound to be scrutinized through a political lens. Meanwhile, her absence from the public eye following the speech only fueled further speculation. Unlike her husband, who thrived on constant visibility and engagement, Melania seemed content to let the moment stand on its own. This stark contrast added another layer of intrigue to her persona. Where Donald Trump wielded his voice as a tool of persuasion and provocation, Melania's silence became her own form of power, a deliberate withholding that compelled people to pay closer attention when she did choose to speak. For supporters, this approach only heightened their admiration. Many saw her as a symbol of quiet strength, someone who understood the value of restraint in an era dominated by noise. They pointed to her ability to command a room without theatrics, to connect with people on a human level, even as she maintained a certain distance. "She's not trying to be something she's not," one supporter said during a televised panel discussion. "That's what makes her so refreshing. She's authentic in a way that a lot of political figures just aren't." Critics, however, were quick to challenge this narrative. They argued that her silence was less about strategy and more about avoidance, a reluctance to engage with the difficult questions surrounding her husband's policies and controversies. Some went further, accusing her of complicity by association, suggesting that her speech was an attempt to deflect attention from the campaign's challenges rather than address them head-on. "It's easy to talk about unity and resilience," one op-ed stated. "It's harder to reconcile those ideals with the actions of the administration she stood by." Amid these debates, one undeniable truth emerged. Melania Trump had become a focal point in her own right. Whether admired or criticized, she was no longer merely a supporting character in her husband's political saga. Her speech had elevated her to a position where her words, and even her silences, carried weight. This shift was particularly evident in how voters responded. Polls conducted in the weeks following her address showed a noticeable change in perceptions of the Trump family. Among undecided voters, particularly women, there was a slight but significant uptick in favorability, with many citing Melania's speech as a reason for their softened stance. This newfound influence wasn't lost on the campaign. Behind the scenes, discussions were underway about how to build on the momentum she had generated. Some advisors pushed for more appearances, arguing that her relatability and measured tone could help broaden the campaign's appeal. Others cautioned against overexposure, warning that part of her power lay in her scarcity, that the more she spoke, the more she risked losing the mystique that had captivated so many. For her part, Melania remained silent on the matter. Those close to her described her as unwavering in her belief that actions, not appearances, were what truly mattered. "She's not interested in playing the political game," one insider revealed. "She'll speak when she feels it's necessary, but she's not going to let anyone dictate her narrative. That's always been her way." This refusal to conform to expectations only deepened the divide between her admirers and her detractors. To some, it was evidence of her independence, proof that she wasn't merely a political pawn. To others, it was a frustrating lack of accountability, a missed opportunity to engage more directly with the issues at hand. Yet, despite the polarized reactions, one thing was becoming increasingly clear. Melania Trump's role in the campaign and in the broader cultural narrative was evolving. She was no longer defined solely by her relationship to her husband or her position as a former First Lady. Instead, she was carving out a space that was uniquely her own, a blend of personal authenticity and strategic ambiguity that defied easy categorization. As the campaign trail heated up, questions linger about what her next move would be. Would she continue to shape the conversation through rare but impactful appearances? Or would she step back into the shadows, content to let her speech speak for itself? And how would this delicate balance between visibility and mystery influence the final stages of the election? What was undeniable, however, was that Melania had shattered the assumptions surrounding her. She had shown the world a different side of herself, one that was thoughtful, composed, and willing to engage on her own terms. For a figure who had long been defined by her silence, this was no small feat. And as the weeks unfolded, the impact of that transformation continued to ripple outward, shaping not just the narrative of the campaign, but the public's understanding of who she was and who she could become. The transformation was undeniable, and its resonance extended far beyond political circles. For many, Melania Trump's speech wasn't just a moment of political theater, it was a reflection of something deeper. It spoke to a woman who had, for years, been underestimated, her silence interpreted as passivity, her public image reduced to a collection of stoic expressions and carefully chosen appearances. But now her voice had broken through, and with it came a sense of agency that surprised even her staunchest critics. For those who had followed her journey closely, this moment didn't come out of nowhere. It was the culmination of years spent navigating one of the most scrutinized roles in the world while staying true to a core sense of self. From her early days as a model in Slovenia to her years as First Lady of the United States, Melania's life had been a study in contrasts, public and private, visible yet enigmatic. Her choice to speak now, and in the way she did, felt less like a departure and more like an evolution. Behind the scenes, those closest to her described a woman deeply reflective, someone who had spent years carefully observing the world around her. Melania's inner circle was tight, her trust hard-earned and rarely given. Yet those who knew her best painted a picture of someone who was far more complex than the caricature often portrayed in the media. She's always been someone who values substance over spectacle, a longtime friend shared. When she chooses to speak, it's because she has something to say, not because she wants attention. This perspective added a new layer to her speech, one that resonated with many who had previously dismissed her as aloof or disinterested. Her emphasis on unity and resilience wasn't just political rhetoric, it reflected a worldview shaped by her own experiences. Having grown up in a small town in what was then Yugoslavia, Melania had witnessed firsthand the effects of political upheaval and social change. These formative years, combined with her later experiences in the United States, gave her a unique perspective on the challenges facing the nation. But while her past provided context, it was her present that held the most intrigue. By stepping into the spotlight on her own terms, Melania had effectively rewritten the narrative surrounding her. No longer was she merely an accessory to her husband's ambitions. She was a figure of her own making, commanding attention not because of who she was married to, but because of what she had to say. This shift wasn't without its challenges. The public and media scrutiny that followed her speech was as intense as it was immediate. Every gesture, every word, every nuance of her delivery was analyzed, debated, and critiqued. Yet through it all, Melania remained steadfast. There were no follow-up interviews, no clarifications or defenses. Her decision to let the speech stand on its own was both a testament to her confidence and a strategic move that only deepened the intrigue. For her supporters, this approach was nothing short of inspiring. They saw in her a figure of quiet strength, someone who exemplified the idea that true power doesn't always need to announce itself loudly. Her speech became a rallying point for those who believed in the values she articulated: resilience, unity, and the importance of personal integrity. Among her critics, however, the reactions were more mixed. While some acknowledged the authenticity of her words, others remained skeptical of her motives. Was this truly a reflection of her own beliefs, or was it part of a larger campaign strategy? The timing of her speech, so close to the election, left room for doubt, and many questioned whether her newfound visibility was as independent as it appeared. These debates, though polarizing, only underscored the broader impact of her reemergence. In a world where public figures are often defined by their personas rather than their actions, Melania had managed to blur the lines. She was at once a political figure and a private individual, a public speaker and a reluctant participant in the spotlight. This duality made her both compelling and confounding, a figure who refused to fit neatly into any one category. As the weeks passed, the focus began to shift from the speech itself to its implications. Within political circles, there was growing recognition of the role Melania could play in shaping the campaign's narrative. Her ability to connect with audiences on a personal level, combined with her unique perspective as an immigrant and former First Lady, gave her a relatability that few other figures could match. For a campaign often criticized for its polarizing rhetoric, her voice offered a chance to reach voters who might otherwise have tuned out. Yet, even as discussions about her potential role intensified, Melania remained resolutely herself. She didn't seek out the spotlight, nor did she shy away from it when it came her way. This balance, deliberate or not, became a defining feature of her public image. To many, it was a refreshing departure from the performative nature of modern politics, a reminder that authenticity, even in small doses, can leave a lasting impression. But perhaps the most striking aspect of Melania's transformation was the way it challenged perceptions of what it meant to be a public figure in today's world. In an era dominated by constant visibility and curated personas, her approach was almost radical in its simplicity. By choosing when and how to engage, she had managed to command attention on her own terms, a feat that few in her position could achieve. For those who had long underestimated her, this was a moment of reckoning. Melania Trump was no longer the silent figure standing by her husband's side. She was a woman with her own story to tell, her own perspective to share. And in choosing to share it now, at this pivotal moment, she had not only redefined herself but also reshaped the conversation around her. As her speech continued to echo in the public consciousness, one question remained. What would she do next? Would this be the start of a new chapter, one where her voice became a more prominent force? Or would she retreat once again into the quiet strength that had defined her for so long? Whatever the answer, one thing was certain: Melania Trump had proven that even in silence, her presence could be profoundly felt. And now, with her voice added to the mix, the possibilities were endless. As the weeks unfolded, the conversation around Melania Trump's speech began to shift. What had initially been a flurry of reactions, both praise and criticism, was now evolving into a broader dialogue about her role in shaping the narrative of a tumultuous election cycle. The memory of her poised delivery lingered in the public consciousness, sparking debates not only about her message, but also about her ability to influence voters in ways that few others could. Within political circles, her impact was becoming increasingly evident. Campaign strategists closely analyzed polling data, noting subtle but significant changes in key demographics. Suburban women, a group often resistant to polarizing rhetoric, showed signs of warming to the campaign, with many citing Melania's speech as a factor. Among independent voters, her emphasis on unity and resilience resonated, offering a counterbalance to the divisiveness often associated with modern politics. This wasn't a tidal wave of support, but it was a ripple strong enough to draw attention. The campaign itself began to quietly adapt. While Donald Trump continued to dominate the headlines with his characteristic bravado, Melania's influence was felt in more understated ways. Messaging shifted to include themes she had highlighted, with a renewed focus on family, community, and shared values. At rallies and events, her presence, whether physical or symbolic, became a touchstone, a reminder of the quieter strength that many found appealing. Yet, even as her influence grew, Melania remained as enigmatic as ever. She made no further public appearances, choosing instead to let her speech speak for itself. For her supporters, this restraint was a sign of authenticity, a refusal to play into the spectacle of constant media engagement. For her critics, it was a convenient way to avoid scrutiny, a strategic silence that allowed her to sidestep tough questions. Regardless of perspective, her approach reinforced one undeniable truth. Melania Trump had mastered the art of commanding attention by withholding it. The cultural conversation surrounding her speech also took on a life of its own. Essays and opinion pieces explored the implications of her transformation, framing it as a broader commentary on the role of women in the political sphere. Some saw her as a symbol of quiet resilience, a figure who had navigated immense challenges with grace and dignity. Others critiqued this narrative, arguing that her silence during pivotal moments in her husband's presidency made her complicit in the controversies that defined it. These debates, while polarizing, underscored the complexity of her public image, a blend of admiration, skepticism, and curiosity that few public figures could match. For Melania herself, the impact of her reemergence was perhaps most evident in the way it reshaped her legacy. No longer was she solely defined by her role as First Lady or her association with her husband. Instead, she was beginning to carve out a narrative that was uniquely her own, a narrative rooted in her values, experiences, and perspective. This was no small feat in a world that often sought to reduce her to a single dimension. By stepping into the spotlight on her own terms, she had not only reclaimed her voice but also challenged the public to see her as more than just an accessory to someone else's story. This shift was particularly significant in the context of the election. As the campaign entered its final weeks, the stakes couldn't have been higher. Every word, every gesture, every moment was scrutinized for its potential to sway voters. And while Melania's speech was just one moment in a much larger narrative, its impact was undeniable. It had shifted perceptions, sparked conversations, and perhaps most importantly, reminded people that even the most familiar figures could still surprise them. In the end, Melania's speech was about more than just politics. It was about agency, identity, and the power of a single voice to cut through the noise. It was a reminder that sometimes the most profound statements come not from those who shout the loudest, but from those who speak with intention and purpose. For a woman who had spent so much of her public life defined by her silence, this was a transformation that resonated on multiple levels. As the election drew closer, the anticipation around what she might do next only grew. Would she continue to influence the campaign from behind the scenes, or would she step forward again, adding her voice to the critical final stretch? And beyond the election, what would this moment mean for her legacy? Would it mark the beginning of a new chapter, one where her influence extended beyond the political sphere? Or would it be remembered as a singular event, a brief but impactful moment in the ever-evolving story of her public life? For now, those questions remained unanswered. But one thing was certain: Melania Trump had redefined the narrative surrounding her. She had shown the world a version of herself that was thoughtful, composed, and unapologetically authentic. And in doing so, she had not only challenged the assumptions that had long surrounded her, but also reminded us all of the power of a voice used sparingly, yet with purpose. With that, we have reached the end of today's show. If you have come this far with us, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.